Welcome back to CEEN Caribbean News, and it's now time to go in depth on the situation unfolding between Central American neighbors Belize and Guatemala. The countries have been at odds over the disputed Sarstoon region and its adjacency region. However, things intensified recently when a 13-year-old Guatemalan boy, Julio Alvarado Ruano, was killed by the Belize Defense Force, BDF. The BDF claims they were fired on in the dead of the night by Guatemalans and returned fire when the teenager was killed and his brother and father were injured. Bilateral talks between the countries began on Tuesday this week in Washington, D.C. But to help us get some ground knowledge of the situation in Belize, we have been joined by Belizean reporter Dalila Ikal. Welcome to In Depth, Miss Ikal. Now, first let's deal with the bilateral talks. What has come of those talks so far?
Since yesterday, I haven't really heard anything from the bilateral talks. What I do know is that Guatemala, they're not saying much about those talks. What they did do is issue press releases refuting what the Prime Minister had said in his press conference, surrounding the incident that sparked the tensions in the recent days. In terms of the bilateral discussions, they haven't really publicized anything yet as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Now, the parliamentary opposition has expressed disappointment with being left out of those talks and even called for a press conference to relay that. What else did they mention in that press conference?
Earlier this week, they have held a press conference saying that, one, they're dissatisfied with the SI that the government had passed prohibiting Belizean citizens from traversing the Sarstoon River, while Guatemalans can still have access to the entire river, not just the part that belongs to them, but also the part that Belize claims. The opposition has also said that they are going to challenge the SI. They are planning a trip to the Sarstoon within this 30-month period of the SI, that the SI should be in effect. The Prime Minister, what he has said is that he briefly explained why they weren't able to invite the opposition into the discussion, basically saying that all this planning and this effort in getting all these meetings to be held in Washington were done so quickly that they didn't really have time to include or invite the opposition into that. That's what they're saying. But before then, they had said that they are going to involve the opposition in all discussions, but so far that's not what they're seeing. So the opposition is seeing so far. So Resenia, the PUP, opposition PUP party leader, has expressed his dissatisfaction into that.
We know that Prime Minister Dean Barrow had put in force a month-long restriction on movement in Belize's portion of the Sarstoon River. How's that been viewed by the populace?
What I'm getting, speaking to people, even just at the grocery store, when I speak to other activist NGO groups like the Belize Spiritual Volunteers and even the members, and you have other members of other political parties, the third party as well, Belize Progressive Party. They're all viewing the government's decision to, one, not respond strongly to Guatemala, especially following the Guatemalan president's response by increasing military presence along the adjacency zone and the Sarstoon, as being weak-kneed. I have also heard repeatedly that, especially following their side, that government, in effect, is ceding the Sarstoon. Belizeans have gone so far as to saying that they can no longer apparently sing the national anthem, especially that line that says from the north to the Sarstoon, that they would probably have to sing it now or change that line in the national anthem, so probably Barranco, because that's where they were, the group was stopped and they were not allowed to traverse, not even the seas, because their intention was not even going into the Sarstoon. They were planning on respecting the SI. I've heard politicians or members of different political parties saying that, yes, and lawyers, including senators as well, saying that the government, it seems, is ceding the CEEN to Guatemala, while the government, of course, argues that that's not the case. They want to just encourage peaceful talks and to find a peaceful solution to the entire situation. They don't want to heighten the tensions. They don't want to provoke any military confrontation within the area, because it's an area of dispute. But Belizeans are feeling that, yes, the government is being very weak-kneed, that the government is ceding Belize, that the government is, in effect, not defending Belize's territory.
Has Guatemala stated what they're hoping to achieve from this situation?
Well, Guatemala has been firm in saying that they say the CEEN, the entire CEEN, including the islands within the river, is theirs. They're not saying that half of the CEEN is theirs. They're saying the entire CEEN is theirs. They want that. And right now, the heightened tensions surround the CEEN area. When it comes to the adjacency zone by Western Belize, they're saying that that part of land is also for Guatemala, and that's what the claim has always been. What I understand from the past is that they say certain areas, while other leaders have claimed half of Belize in certain instances, but I guess this is from, Guatemalans. They're even some sort of, they design the maps and they include Belize as the entire Belize as part of Guatemala, painting it white and blue. But Guatemala has always said the CEEN is theirs, the entire CEEN, that is theirs. They have always rejected the 1859 treaty, while Belize has accepted it. So far, the discussions have not really gone anywhere since the claim was made over the years, leader after leader from both countries. But we've maintained a level of peace between both countries. International relations have been peaceful, developing good relations with one another. But recently, given the situation, which specifically after this child was killed, Guatemala has taken a more, people call it, aggressive stance. And they're not ceding anything, especially when it comes to the CEEN. Even the BDF, they claim, have to go and ask permission to traverse the river, because they have to go take supplements and stuff to a base that they have along the southern part of the country. Cadenas, I think it is. And Guatemalans say that the BDF has always had to ask for permission to traverse their side, what Belize calls their side of the river, but military presence has always been there for years. And it's only coming to light recently that people are saying, this is not supposed to be that way. The DTV leaders are saying that that's not the way it's supposed to be. Belize has always rejected the fact that they haven't had to ask for permission, but Guatemala is claiming that, yes, they have to. So their claim continues to be the same, but there's heightened aggressiveness, especially following the shooting of this child by the Chicabo area.
So we've heard from the governments of Belize and Guatemala, but what about the child's family? Have they spoken out or made any demands?
What I can say is all I have read from different Guatemalan media. I can't say that we have actually been able to go over there and talk to them. They're saying that they were there peacefully. They were just planting pumpkin seeds, and the Guatemala, I think the dad was interviewed, and he said that they were just doing what they were doing, and they just saw the soldiers come up and started shooting. And that's what they're claiming. They're saying that they were unarmed, and that the BDF really just came in and attacked them, basically.
So what's the feeling like on the ground in Belize? Are citizens fearful or even expecting that this situation could escalate into a war?
Certain sections of the community do feel that what Guatemala is doing is trying to corner Belize and provoking Belize into reacting that way, while I've heard others saying that they're prepared to go to war. But in saying that they're actually fearing that it might break into war, no, I haven't really gotten that from them. The criticism is really saying that what I've heard, or what I can gather from the people, is that they're disappointed in the leadership of the government. They wish that the government would be far more determined. They should defend Belize's territory, or be more firm in defending Belize's territory. But there's not that sense that it could break out into war. What I'm guessing, where I'm getting that sense from, is actually from the government, from the Prime Minister. He's saying, you know, we're doing these things because we want to prevent military confrontation. You know, but the people physically are saying, you're not doing enough, and we're prepared to go to war if that's what it is.